Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 DLC Pack 2 is out, and we have our first actual audible, I guess, confirmation, or our first audible teaser of what the voices of the God of Destruction Champa and his angel Vados are going to sound like in the Dragon Ball Super English dub. The episodes have not aired as of this initial recording. They will be coming out soon with these characters in them. But now we finally get to hear what they sound like. And on this video, we've talked about this before. We've talked about Hit and Goku Black. We've talked about Kaba and Frost. Now we're talking about Champa and Vados, two very important characters because they are pretty much the, I guess you can say, the anchors for the third arc of Dragon Ball Super, which many consider the first arc because the previous two are just movie retellings. So we're going to talk about the voices, what we think, and give our criticisms and our praise. Joining me to talk about this, he's been here before. You should know who he is by now. I would really hope so because he's pretty important to our fandom and somebody who really knows voice acting very, very well. Welcome back, MasakoX. Hello, sir.
Hey, Geekdom, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm excited to talk about this because we've been talking about this off air for a while now, and now we can actually talk about it with the people. And I definitely want the people to, in the comment section, to tell us what you think about these voices. Because the thing is, Masako, bro, that's interesting about this is the first time for a lot of fans, I would say about 95% of the English-speaking Dragon Ball fans, to where we have the Japanese voices first. We've heard the Japanese voices first, and now we're hearing the English versions, and now we can compare the two, whereas back in the 90s, it was backwards. You usually heard, like, and we talked about this before, Calamus or Corlett, and then you would hear Nozawa, and a lot of people would say, wow, like, that's different. Goku sounds very different. Sometimes they'll say it in a more mean way, but you get what I'm saying. Now it's backwards. Now we're hearing the Japanese voices first, so it's interesting to do these comparisons.
Well, basically what we're doing is what we're doing with pretty much any anime ever. So we've been used to hearing the English version and Japanese for Dragon Ball, but really with everything else, with all the anime that comes out, we get the Japanese dub, then we get the English dub. So we're just kind of now sticking to the trend. So it's just the streamlining of events. And now these days, thanks to simuldubs, we can now pretty much have 1 week we get the Japanese, then the next month or so, or maybe less than that, we get the English one.
And we're going to talk about simuldubs when we talk about our first person here we're going to get to. But I just find it really funny, though, Lawrence, man, that, people... Like, obviously, where I'm going with this. Like, a lot of people, when they first switch over to Japanese, they're very jarred by the voices. They're very like, whoa, this sounds different, But, and they'll say, well, I grew up with, Sean Schemmel, for example. But now, because of Super, I'm seeing the reverse effect. I'm seeing people say, for example, like with Hit, he's good, but he's not as good as the Japanese, and it makes me wonder, like, I wonder if people had watched the dub first, if they would think that, because, it's whatever's imprinted on you first, you know what I mean?
Yeah, imprinting's a very, very mammalian instinct.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the beautiful thing about who we're talking about today, Vados and Champa, Jason Liebrecht, I'm having some trouble saying his name, and Caitlin Glass, is that they really, really, really sound like their Japanese counterparts. And that's, I'm going to get to in detail what we're talking about here, but Chris Sabat as the casting director, I don't know if he's the only one, but I know he is in charge of casting, has done such an amazing job of finding the right voices for the right characters. It's mind-boggling.
Well, he's indulging in the fact that these days there is such a huge talent pool to pull from. He can get exactly who he wants for the part. Not back in the old days where he had to put flyers out and hope that people would, audition. And then maybe 9 times out of 10 they would get some duds, and you would then get like maybe 9 or 10 actors to work with. Now these days there are hundreds, and he can pick whoever he wants. And now he can actually go and say, hey, we don't have to worry about standards and practices now. We can actually pick people who will work, and not something that producers want saying, I get this character because he sounds like that character, and that show makes good ratings, so just make it sound like that. Or the opposite end, they don't care. So now Sabat can actually sit down and think, this character sounds like this. Oh, I know a guy or a gal.
Yep.
Let's get them.
Yep. I love it. And plus, the other thing is everybody wants to work on Dragon Ball. So, a lot of people do. So, 'cause it's a big thing. Like, you want to work on Dragon Ball to have that on your resume. And there you go. And let's talk about Caitlin Glass. She is voicing Vados. Talk about Vados' English dub voice. We had heard rumblings of this, for months now that Caitlin Glass is Vados. All privately, of course. Now we have confirmation that Caitlin Glass was indeed cast as Vados. That's homegirl for you, man. I know that you and her have like I don't know if it's a friendship or what, but that's like your homie. But when you look at her resume, she is really well known in the anime dubbing circles. I mean, I think her biggest, she did My Hero Academia, but I think her biggest is probably Full Metal Alchemist. That's probably her biggest thing, I would say. But, because that's like, it's a huge show. It's a huge show. She was also on Fairy Tail. And we talked about it earlier before we started recording that she's an ADR director, and she's been doing a lot of that lately, which is a very high-stress job because you have a deadline. It's not like with Super where they're dubbing the episodes kind of slowly. They have time. They have season breaks. With simuldubs, you have a deadline, and I'm so happy because she, I think, is a really, really good Vados. I was really impressed by it.
Yeah, honestly, I could not be more happier for Caitlin because we actually started to we actually bumped into each other back in 2010, and so I met her and her mother at first at one YomaCon, and then we really started to hit it off as friends when she came over to a British con, and she was very out of her depth, and she saw me, and she went, "Oh my God, someone I recognize." So me and my girlfriend, we basically hung out with her, and she was quite lonely. She didn't have anyone to hang out with. So she said, "Hey, can I hang out with your friends for the night?" And it was great. Our group, we went to a little London convention, and we went out for a dinner, and we really hit it off. And and I think she really appreciated the fact that we were actually asking her about her, not saying, "Hey, talking about anime and talking shop." We were actually asking her about her life, and that's where we kind of hit it off. And now every time we see each other at conventions, it's just always like a friendly hug and say, "Hey, how you doing?" So I'd say I would describe either just a standard friend or like a very, very close acquaintance. I would describe it that, but I could not be more happier for her because. Yeah, she's really come back into the Funimation fold lately, and with all the simuldubs that she's been doing, because, she's
hard worker.
Done more than that. She's done Ouran High School Host Club, playing the main character in that, and also Street Fighter 4. She's Cammy.
Yeah.
She's Cammy in that. She's been in Pokemon. She's been in Attack on Titan.
Xenoblade.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Assassination Classroom.
The thing about her is her resume now is extremely impressive when it comes to big shows.
In the last 4 years, she's basically done so much. And of course, you cannot forget Winry. But we're here to talk about Vados.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say also one thing is real quick, she did the Funimation redub of Escaflowne. She's been on Pokemon, Full Metal Alchemist, One Piece, and she did a very small role in Bio Broly, the Dragon Ball Z movie. Just having that on your resume is ridiculous, but I'm sorry, bro. Continue.
Maybe not the Bio Broly part. Maybe
you get the joke. Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe if you can say, "Oh, I was in the first half of Bio Broly." That first half was okay. That bit with 18 and Satan, that was great. But with Vados, I felt like, I have no fault with that, and I'm not saying that because I'm a friend of hers or I know her a bit. I say she genuinely did well, but I feel like with Xenoverse, Sabat's playing it safe. Like. They're just finding their feet with the characters, and I feel like she could have pushed it out a little bit more and added a little bit more sass in, but this is something that she can easily add to when they get to the dub, because there'll be a lot more to work with. And, they'll have had some time to hone the craft, but in terms of a foundation for Vados, I felt it was really good. You need someone who's like, it sounds weird, but sounds tall, sounds like looking down, and informative and factual, intelligent. And she got that.
And the thing about Vados too, and I think Caitlin, and again, I don't know Caitlin as well as you do at all. I've only heard her voice. I've never met her in person. And I do trust you what you say about her. She, her voice, her actual voice for Vados is so perfect because the thing about Vados is everything you said is correct, but also Vados is very calm and collected. You never ever hear Vados freaking out. Like even in recent episodes of Super, when you're finding out all these things that could happen to the universes, of course the angels will be spared, but she is really, really, she's always, composed. And I love the fact that it's almost easy. Now, obviously, voice acting is not easy, but the Vados character, I feel, is there's not a lot of screaming involved. Caitlin doesn't have to blow her vocal cords out, like with other roles, and that's good for her. I cannot wait, Masako, bro, for the freaking Champa-sama, like that scene, the scene where Omni King first shows up and she's like, Lord Champa. I can't wait for that because she's such a collected character, and I think that Caitlin's voice, it fits. I really think it fits.
At the same time, though, Vados, if you listen closely, she is sassy. Like, she
calls Champa fat all the time.
Yeah, because Champa's always, I think, why the hell did you do that? Yeah, Vados. And I'm like, well, you told me to. I'm just doing what you told me to do. I don't know what you mean. Like, she knows what she's doing, but she's just going, she's way smarter than Champa. Champa and Beerus aren't the smartest gods of destruction. I mean, they don't need to be because they've got attendants that will do all the hard work for them.
Right.
They're not exactly the most attentive gods of destruction. And I feel like Whis and Vados know this, so they can just basically just play along, play dumb, and just like say, hey, we can take this easy. And maybe that might be the reason why their mortal level scores are not so high, because they've been lax. But Vados can play Champa like a fiddle.
And I think
I love that. And I love that it's discreet. It's just, you go and listen and go, ooh, okay, Vados, ooh, she's got bite.
Yeah, and I think all the cutscenes we've seen so far, she knocked it out of the park. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to hear what they're going to do when they get to Dragon Ball Super Episode 28. And I'm excited for the baseball episode. Not just because of Vados, but because of the next person we're talking about, and that is, of course, Champa, voiced by Jason Liebrecht. Now, Jason Liebrecht's previous, I guess, career, he was also in Full Metal Alchemist, also in One Piece. You're seeing these actors do a lot of these roles because of Funimation being able to license these things. He is an Okratron guy. And ADV also, he's worked with them as well. There's only a few dubbing companies now. So you're going to get guys getting a lot of work. He's also in Shin-Chan, just done a lot of stuff. The thing is, Masako, man, Champa is my favorite character in Dragon Ball Super. I love Champa so very much, and I asked several different people at Funimation, and they were keeping it a secret about who's voicing Champa, and I think they were doing it purposely to screw with me because they knew how much I like Champa. And then when I actually heard Jason Liebrecht's Champa, I was like, wow, he nailed it. I was so worried. I was so concerned about them not getting this character right. He's got the whininess, he's got the wackiness, he's got the... I mean, we haven't heard him in his prime yet till the episode's air, but he's got it. Like, I don't know if it's Sabbath's direction or if it's Jason understanding that character, but he understood the character, and you gotta understand, Lawrence, man, I was so worried that they weren't gonna get it, and they get it, and I was like, wow, like... all hail the new era of dubbing that pays attention and tries to be accurate, because I was so happy when I heard his voice.
And little known fact is that in Kai, he voices Jace.
Yeah,
so
and he was Tapion.
Yeah, in Wrath of the Dragon. And also, if you think about it, both Gods of Destruction for Universe 6 and 7, their actors, first name Jason. Jason Douglas, Jason Liebrecht.
I never noticed that. Well, actually, technically, Jason's first name is Ernesto. Just saying.
Oh, yep. Or stage name.
Stage name, yeah.
Stage names, yes. But when I first heard Champa, at first, it did throw me off. I was going like, whoa, okay, that's a little too whiny. But then, I took that reaction, I went like, oh, okay, wait. And I think this is where a lot of people have that disconnect. They go realize, oh man, that Champa sucks, sounds too whiny. It's like, wait a minute. There are many times in the Japanese dub where Champa is whining.
Yes.
That's what he does 80% of the time.
Yes.
The other time, he's acting superior or fighting with Beerus, or both.
Right.
But yeah, if you step back and go, wait a minute, this is how he sounds like in the Japanese dub. So you think, oh, okay, all right. Yeah, you start to go, hey, all right. I think it's going to throw people off at first that might not have thought that, Sabat and company would literally do the same as they did in the Japanese dub. But I think with time, and again, it's like with Caitlyn, it's like with Goku Black, it's like with all the characters, they'll take time to bed in, and by the time we get to the series, the voices will pretty much be where they're going to be for the rest of the production.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I agree with everything you said. For me, Champa does whine a lot, but it's his voice, Jason's voice, is so close. And I don't know why people are saying otherwise. It really is close to when it comes to vocal inflections. Because even when Champa does not whine, he sounds like he's whining. Like Vados, like I just love that character so much because Champa's kind of in a weird way kind of lovable because he's so naive and he's fat, which makes you lovable the fatter you are.
I think the one thing that made me go with Champa is like, when Beerus like gave him like wished for his Earth back, and Champa was like, he didn't know what to think, and it was almost, you felt like, I thought Champa was gonna cry, or like
right.
show like, whoa, okay. And I like that moment because at first you just go, oh, Champa and Beerus are just like, oh, they're brothers that don't like each other. But then you actually go, no, wait a minute, they do.
They do. And that's why, Lawrence, I'm waiting for the moment when something bad happens to one of them and the other one has to fight for him. I mean, that's gonna be the one moment in Dragon Ball where I'm gonna literally like jump out of my chair when when a villain comes around and injures Beerus or Champa. And I know it seems unlikely now, but I hope that Super goes on enough to see this and the other brother steps up. Oh man, that's gonna really give me goosebumps.
Though, at the same time, they're brothers because at the time with Universe 7, it's just like. Champa's going, hey, do you think we could like just run away and just like pretend this didn't happen? Or, boo, I don't like you, Universe 7. Oh, boo, boo. And you just think, oh, you dick, you're adorable dick.
He's such an awesome character. Like, I'm not going to lie. I would have wanted to voice him, but I'm so happy because of my connection to the character. But I love Sabat's choice. I mean, I'm just so shocked, bro, that he got it so good. I was in shock as to how good he got it. I really was.
Well, to be fair, Sabat's been probably watching Super since it came out. So
yes.
For a year, 12 to 18 months, he's been studying these characters, and I think he knows exactly who he wants for every single character that's coming in. I mean, he probably is now watching Toppo, and
right.
I would petition for Mike Pollock to voice Toppo, the voice of Dr. Eggman.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great, but I understand if he didn't do that. But, I mean, who knows? Sabat might do it himself. Do his Armstrong voice.
Right, the deep voice. Yeah, well, I love that character. I mean, hey, Chris Rager, maybe he should do Toppo, because he has that same, that...
No, but at the same time, though, Mr. Satan has been doing a lot of stuff in the Universal arc, and I did not expect that. What are the odds that Earth finds out about this universe, the Tournament of Power, and then Mr. Satan's just there and say, oh my god, Mr. Satan saved the universe! Again!
Again, just every arc he's saying, he's the real hero.
and Goku goes like, yeah, no, do, because we don't want this. So just act like that for us and do this for the next 40 years.
Right, just be the fall boy, I guess, for...
No, be the poster child.
The poster child, that's the other one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, the creditor. Yeah, well, let us know what you think in the comments. I was just thoroughly impressed. I was expecting it not to be that great. And I will say this, Sabat did tease me about who he got for Zamasu. They won't say who it is, but they're saying it's a really, really good... He said it was going to be really, really good. And that's a big one because that's a big, big villain, and I cannot wait to see what they do. I trust them now. Like, I trust them because they got Champa right, and I'm not saying that I didn't trust them before, but I'm just so mesmerized at the fact that they actually got it right. So let us know in the comments your thoughts. Do you think that, or do you feel the way Masako felt to where Champa kind of grew on you after a while? Do you think they got it spot on? And would you like to see any kind of changes with these characters? Is there anything else you want to say before we get out of here, man?
Well, I will say that I did grow very, very quickly to Champa. It was like within like a minute. I was just like, I settled down,
That is very
listened to
quick.
some more, and I just went like, yeah, because it was just like initial like, whoa, okay. But then eventually you just kind of go, oh, wait a minute, just listen to some more. Oh, okay, all right, I can dig it. Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much it, really.
Yep. We'll let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll talk to you guys down the road. And we look forward to the next DLC pack because I think DLC pack 3 is going to have Zamasu, so we will know. We will definitely know what's going to happen. And I'm curious if Schemmel will modify his Goku Black voice. Because I think the only voice that I think needs to be a little bit tweaked is the Goku Black one. And it's going to be very interesting to see where that goes as well. We'll see.
Yeah.
So everybody check out MasakoX. I'll leave a link to his channel down below. You probably are already subscribed to him. If not, check him out. And thank you so much for being here, bro.
Yeah, well, thanks very much for inviting me, man.
Always. And I have a big video over on MasakoX's channel where we talked about the history of women in Dragon Ball. I'll leave a link to that at the end of this video. Talk to you guys later.